we'd do something which I don't normally do, which is filming on commutes, and that's just because my commutes are short enough that adding the time of putting in a GoPro, switching on all the mics, is just a bit too much of a faff, and it adds way too much time to it. But today, because I was running a few errands, there's a bit of time, and of course the new bike must be shown as well. Yeah, and I'll tell you the story actually of how I got it. After riding all the different bikes that I've ridden, I kind of got to the point where the 690 Duke just didn't have enough go for what I wanted to do. I mean, yeah, it was fun, but bloody hell. Yeah, I was starting to get a bit bored of it. I wanted, you know, a bit more power, and so that's when I started posting pictures just incessantly, constantly about that bloody Ducati 1098. But after I looked at that and did the numbers on it a bit, it was just far too expensive. I mean, to actually pay for it, I would have been tight if I'd bought it. So then I started searching around for other bikes as well that were more affordable, and Crotch Rocket and Angry suggested maybe looking at Aprilias. I mean, Crotch Rocket, he said he had 2 Aprilias which were both shit, so God knows why he was suggesting to get the RSV Melee, but anyway. So I looked at the RSV 1000R, which is the previous thing to what came to the RSV 4, I think. And that is a lot of bike for the money. So I started looking at those, and you could get one for about, I don't know, 5-6 grand, let's say. And that was the factory spec one, so you got everything, the O-lins, the this, the that, you know, the whole lot, the whole caboodle came with that. I went to have a look at one of those, and again, yeah, Crotch Rocket kind of came along, you know, to be the more experienced eye to just have a look at it, but the dealer just wasn't wanting to give a test ride, which just, I was like, well, fuck it. I mean, I'm not going to buy a bike which I can't even test. And on the way back, I popped into my usual KTM dealer, and he happened to have a Super Duke R, the 990 version. And the funny thing is that when I bought the 690 from him, he said, when you come back next year, you will most likely come here and you'll buy the Super Duke R. And I thought, well, you know, in the back of my mind, of course, it was there, but it was a bit more than I wanted to spend. It was about £1 grand more than what I would have paid for the Aprilia, but it was just exactly how I wanted it. It was black with the orange frame. I'll show it one day. I mean, you've probably seen the picture. We'll have a look at the pictures on Instagram or wherever I put them. And it was just so cool. And it had everything. It has the exhaust system is the full Krapovich system. I mean, it's, you know, it's got that V-twin pump to it, and the pops and the crackles are just something else. The other reason why I decided to change bikes, I wanted to keep the 690 and keep it as a second bike, and have like the Ducati or some kind of sport bike by the side of it, so I could still have that sort of the hooligan funness that I still enjoy from the Duke. And I guess the other reason why I ended up changing bikes was because I went for a ride with the Evangelist. I'll put a link to his YouTube below as well. He had just bought a I think it was brand new GSX-R 600, and we went for a ride all around Dunsfold, Surrey, East Sussex, whatever, and I was definitely jealous of him having a big boy's bike, and you know, my bike is the 690 for all purposes, is a toy, you know, to do silly shit on, and I just wanted something with a bit more brap. When Crotch Rocket got his 990 Adventure and I got a chance to ride that and nearly trashed it, we won't talk about that anymore, but I really like that. I really like the engine. It was peppy, smooth, and I just think the LC8 engine, I mean, a few people have said it, it is, I will agree with them, it is definitely one of probably the best engines out there from the few that I've ridden. It just feels really nice, torquey, powerful, makes a nice noise. And the insurance as well. The insurance was a damn sight cheaper on this than it was on the Ducati. I mean, and the other thing with this bike is that, you know, I can keep this, I reckon, for another 3 years or so, because you know, there's so much stuff on this that I'll probably never understand, or, well, not never, but it'll take me a long time to actually understand the subtleties and the differences. I mean, the suspension is all fully adjustable WP stuff. I mean, it's got a steering damper as well. I mean, honestly, I don't know where I'd use the steering damper unless I'm on the track, really. The engine's uprated. It's not the standard LC8 engine from the regular Super Duke. It's actually it's been, I think, uprated for another, is it 16 horsepower, which takes it to over 130. So it really does growl when you want it to growl. The one problem with the loud exhaust is that I actually do like to listen to other bikes, listen to the tone, you know, just comparison. Wine and cheese comparison in that sense, and I just can't hear any other bikes anymore, which is actually, it's a shame. The other thing is that the handling on this bike is just fantastic. It's how can I describe it? It's kind of point and shoot. You look where you want to go, and this bike will go there. I mean, that's quite a contrast to the 690, because I think because it's quite high and of its sort of supermoto-ish stature, is that I found that on corners that I sort of had to actually dive it in. I mean, I even think the frame is actually different to the standard Super Duke. They've changed something on the head, which I guess makes it more aggressive steering wise, which is another plus. So there's a lot on this bike which makes it really, I think, what they'd call God, am I going to get tetanus from being near this truck? So, you know, in some ways it is a completely different bike to the normal Super Duke, and in terms of fit, I mean, I'm over 6'1", reasonably longish inseam, and this bike, it fits me really well, unbelievably well. I mean, if there were ever a bike that were made for me, this is the bike. And you can tell just when you brake and come to a stop, fuel mapping is definitely richer than the standard, whatever's on our version. Hydrocarbon bouquet that blows up from beneath the helmet. You know, this doesn't have any electronics. I mean, I would call this, it's probably, I'd probably call it a purist bike, because there's no ABS, there's no traction control, there's only one power mode. But what does help with the exhaust, I can tell you, is that I can get myself noticed quite easily. And just simply a quick brap of the exhaust sorts the matter out. Fueling, I'm getting used to it. It's very twitchy. I mean, there's a lot of power, a lot of torque at the bottom end, and it's just, you have to have a very, very steady wrist. Otherwise, you just ride around like a noob. I mean, I don't mind. I am a noob, so yeah. So that's kind of what I initially think of this bike. I must also say thanks to Big Smoke and the Bandit, because he did give me a shout out very kindly. One of a smaller motovlogger that he enjoys to watch, so thank you very much, Big Smoke. I've kept the camera angled up because I'm wearing Ken Block shoes, so I don't want to disappoint you. And yeah, that's it. So see you guys later.